Way you move make me blind. You will always be there. There's no doubt in my mind. You will always be there. Heading out to see ya and leave the rest behind. Oh, oh, 'cause you will always be there.
Golly.
I've had the newer stabilizer for about 48 hours now, and I feel like I have a pretty good handle on it. So today we're going to be talking about some tips, tricks, and just getting sexy, smooth footage with your newer stabilizer, glide cam, whatever it is that you have. Let's go ahead and do that.
Funny how the story goes, little hope but bigger dreams. They try to bring a sucker down, singing louder than the crowd. Listen to the rhythm, I'm feeling brand new. Keep pushing forward, it's gonna save you. Never look down, love, not when we shine so bright.
What's up, guys? Oh, pretty much this is going to be a how I made college dropout. The how to sync up multiple cameras the easy way. I shied away from doing multicam for quite some time because I had 3-4 different bad experiences with it, where it was having to get into post and spending hours trying to get everything synced up. Figure out a way to do all of that without it being a super complicated process. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that now. So first, let's talk about the ways you shouldn't do it. So first, you want to go ahead and just ditch Premiere Pro if you got that. That was my mistake. I thought that the software, I thought that I could use Premiere Pro to give me reliable results every single time, and no. So skip that, get Final Cut Pro. So let's start with why you may want to use multicam to begin with. A lot of times I see it done in kind of like an office or interview setting where you have like the main camera looking at 2 people, and then camera B and camera C are both kind of like crossed with each other. In my opinion, I think that's good, but it's extremely static, and the way I'm using multicam now is to be able to tell the entire story. What I mean by that is taking you on the journey and experience with me. Having just one shot of what you're doing only makes your movies, your films, one-dimensional. They don't know whether, if you're say you're vlogging or kind of doing the handheld shots. Say you're vlogging and doing kind of like the handheld shots, like so. If I walk through and I talk to you and if I walk through and tell you the entire story and I'm telling you about my day, all you really see of me are my shoulders and my head, and you might see, a little bit of extra of me. You're not exactly seeing the entire environment. You're seeing kind of my background as I go, but you're not getting that full on story. So
Sip me up like lemonade, we both know it's bittersweet. last forever young. No, listen the rhythm, I'm feeling brand new. Keep pushing forward, it's gonna save you. Never look down low, not when we shine so bright. I know the sun is getting warmer, but when we soar away among the clouds, the sky is just a border. But when we're floating up like helium.
With College Dropout, I really wanted to share my entire journey and experience with you, like the hardship, the emotion with that. So I didn't want to give you one kind of side. I wanted to shoot with multiple cams, multiple angles, multiple like vantage points where I'm talking really close to the camera or I'm fairly far away, kind of giving you an entire look at my body language. So the way I pulled that off, let me get to the practical stuff because I'm giving you the why but not giving you the how. So I pulled that off. I started with my SL2, or I started with my Canon SL2, the iPad Pro, and the Canon Rebel T6. Note that all these cameras have various like quality to them. They're not all the same. They're not rendering all the exact same results. So the first thing I did was decide which was going to be my camera A, which was going to have my audio coming from it. And of course I went with the SL2. You guys have been following me for 80 plus vlogs now. The next part was figuring out how I was going to tell my story without, one, getting my cameras stolen, broken, whatever. You gotta put them in a place where you can kind of see them. Like, you can't just put it randomly. How I was going to keep the audio consistent with 3 cameras. How was I going to do like different angles? Like, how was I going to? What was the benefit of 3 cameras? Like, do I put one camera here, and the next one there, or do I find like different spots? So that was kind of a no-brainer. And how do I continue to move the scene? How do I continue to make the story more dynamic? What I came up with was this. Put this camera pretty much as the wide shot, really far away, so it captured my movement kind of walking through the neighborhood. I put this camera completely opposite of that camera, and at the time I was trying to use this guy as another wide shot. You'll notice that as another wide shot. You'll notice I have the 50mm on right now, and I've kind of changed the dynamics with this because the Canon Rebel T6 is horrible at autofocus. So working with what we got, working with what we have with today's shoot. So the second part to that, and of course you have to have a story. You have to be able to tell your story as you're going along. I'm not going to get into storytelling right now. I made a vlog about how, like, stories that you can pick out to be able to tell really easily in this vlog. But how do I change the angle and change the dynamic without taking up too much time? That's the next step. So that's what we're going to do right now. So notice how the wide camera, the iPad Pro, is over there. Well, all we're going to do now, instead of move it to another point, we're literally just going to change the angle to face a different direction. With that, that means I can start walking. You'll see me walking with the iPad Pro without having to really move that. The next time we move it, we'll end up pulling it all the way far to that yellow pole over there, and that'll be a good angle, and we'll turn it around again for the next scene. So you're getting a lot of my environment and seeing also me use the gear that I like. So next came like the audio part. How was I going to keep all the audio in sync in post? That bothered me for a while. It took me a while to figure out how I was going to do that after doing all these different multicams. And the solution's actually really simple. All you really have to do is make sure that the camera that you're going to be talking to the entire trip. So we have the wide camera, which is the iPad Pro. We have the really close-up camera that's getting really important talking points. And then you have really the main camera right here that I'm taking with me all the time, getting the medium shots of me. So you just make sure that you take that camera with the mic, Rode mic, whatever, with you. And as you talk, when you get back into post, you can just switch the angles and keep the same audio that's running through here, and it'll all be seamless and just awesome. I swear I just saw something over there. So remember, what's the next step we're gonna do? We're gonna, now that I'm changing angles, I'm walking, I'm moving, we're moving the iPad Pro. Moving the iPad Pro to another angle over to that yellow post we said. And I do want to move this along a little bit more, a little bit further into this environment. So I'm actually just going to turn it this way. So the whole goal of this was to create a unique style, a way. I've been doing this for 80 plus vlogs now, and I want to really want to step it up and just put my own style on what I've learned over the past 80 or so vlogs. So the 100 mark is really kind of in my mind I'm kind of out of training now. I'm out of that kind of novice field. Time to start stepping it up and really just bringing more to the table. So really the last step of this was to find a way to sync it up in post that was not complicated, that was easy to do, that would work every single time. I'm not interested in multicam setups where it works half the time, where it works, you know, once in a while, or I have to go through and scrub through. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. And so that was a must checklist on this list to be able to do this, to be able to accomplish this.
I know you will always be. Come on, let me closer to your heart. I'm waiting here for you. Yeah, I know you will always be you're the one that I need. Yeah, you make me feel like there's no air left to breathe. Yeah, you make me feel like I can run on water. I'm picking up the speed. Oh, 'cause you will always be there.
So the absolute most important part of this was to be able to sync up the audio. How you do that is simple, don't overcomplicate it, but make sure that when you're shooting, you're thinking about the record times on all of the cameras. Usually all the cameras, or at least one of your cameras, is going to time out after about 8 to 10 minutes. So keep that in mind. Every 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, every like 8 or so minutes, go to each of your cameras. This could be like while you move. This is exactly what I did when I was collecting this guy, and I was also collecting that one to move the angle. I literally pressed the record on and off button on every single one of them. And to sync it up, all you need to do, make sure they're all in the exact same vicinity. They're all in the same kind of your space. You're gonna do clap, clap, clap. And yeah, you could do 1 clap or 2 claps, but 3 claps is a sure on. It works. Those 3 claps, clap, 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 are going to sync up the audio on each of those cameras. So when you put it into Final Cut Pro and click on the 3 clips that you have in that sequence, and right click on them and say create multicam clip, it's going to have a much easier time finding where it sees those spikes at and being able to sync them up to in your angles. Final Cut does an amazing job with multicam. So when you're like looking at the footage, you can literally watch it, select the best audio, which would be from your camera A that you've been walking around with, and click on the clip, click on the angle that you want in real time with them all rolling together. Pretty damn awesome. So to wrap this all up, try out multicam. Don't make it complicated. Don't make it complicated. 3 claps. As long as you have one good mic, you're good, and use Final Cut Pro. Try it out. You'll be impressed. The amount you'll be able to fit into your films, or the level of professionality that you'll be able to fit into your films, I promise will be a step up. Last thing is, really, I've been using the So I've really been using the Glide Cam for, I think, roughly 48 hours now, and I feel like I have a really good handle on how to use it. There are some things that, after getting past all the balancing, all that stuff, tricks that I've found that work, it makes it so much easier. All the B-roll that you've seen throughout this entire video has been done on the Glide Cam. What you're gonna wanna do, I'm gonna go upside down real quick for a second. I'll flip you in post, Will. But you're gonna take the camera and instead of having it upside right, you're literally just going to flip it, and the audio is gonna be weird right here, but you're gonna, at least for this clip, you're gonna flip it upside down, and it makes it so much easier when you're controlling it. So you're walking like this and doing this number. If you need to go up a level, you can. Instead of doing it the right side way, like I feel like you hit the little top thing if you're doing it this way. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can definitely do it this way. It's just, I find it gets in the way of my movement, and it also limits how far I can go down. Like, watch this. I'm trying to go down as I'm walking, and as I try to pull my hand up, it hits it, and so it makes it more complicated. If you flip it upside down, like, you don't have that. And look how low I can get to the ground with that. And I'm just using my thumb at the very end and fingers, and literally just able to shoot the scene really well. All right, so you guys can see the sun is gone. You guys can see the sun is gone completely. So that sums it up. Until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got some inspiration out of it. Just remember, just get out there, film something, do it every day, and I promise you'll get better and better and better. So until next time, peace.